Here's the story. Sitting in front of the TV, laptop, doing research like I normally do. And I started searching my cousin. His name is Carlton Donald Taylor. So Carlton D. Taylor. Never really done much searching on him before, knew a little bit about his life. For some reason, something that night, I can't remember what, made me start searching his name with the middle initial in there, Carlton D. Taylor. And I was searching newspapers.com. And all of a sudden, I started to see his name pop up in articles. And that was the night that I basically realized that he was the first Black man who was commissioned as an officer in the US Army in World War II. This is before the US military was integrated. So it was still separate, Blacks and whites fighting separately in defense of our freedom based on skin color. But anyway, I'm looking at this article and I'm thinking, wow, I had no idea. I knew he was in the Army. We had a photograph of him in his military uniform, but the idea that he was the first, and this was published not in like the Houston Informer, which was a Black controlled newspaper. This was in the Austin American Statesman newspaper, white controlled newspaper at the time in the 1940s, I believe 1942. And they confirmed it right there for the first time. Now, obviously, my name is Carlton. My mother named me after her cousin, Carlton Donald Taylor. Not the Donald part. So all my life, I knew I'd been named after a relative, learned more and more about him. And then a month ago, wow, I had no idea. Commissioned as an officer in the US Army, first Black man from Austin, Texas. So I told that story on Instagram. I put his name on the story, shared it with followers. It was great. People responded. They thought it was interesting too. Exactly 1 month after I posted that story, I got a message from an antique dealer who lives near Austin. She had been working in Buda, which is where my people are from. And she connected with me and she writes me a note. She says, hey, this guy dropped off a box of pictures at my antique shop years ago. I held on to the pictures. I thought about giving them to a museum. For some reason, on this day, 1 month after I posted that story about my cousin Carlton, she decided to look on the back of the photos. She saw a name and she Googled it and she found me. She sent me a message and she said, I've got, I don't know, a couple of dozen photographs. Thought about giving them to a museum, but now that I found you, I want to send them to you. The next day, she put those photographs in this box and she dropped it in the mail and sent it to me. And so it arrived today. So here I am, going through the box for the first time. She said the photographs were dropped off by a man who said, I have these, and I've had these photographs from an estate in Buda, Texas. Buda's a tiny, small town southwest of Austin. My people were part of a freedom colony just to the west of Buda called Antioch Colony. And so some guy had these photographs from somebody who lived somewhere in that area. We don't know who. So I'm going to open the box, go through the photographs, see what's in here. All right, wife. So the antique dealer said she got these. I actually asked her, does she remember what year? And she's guessing 2018. She wasn't positive. And she said she's moved a couple of times and she kept the box of photographs. So despite the fact that she was moving, she held on to the photographs, which is crazy because I know I have a lot of photographs of people who I don't know who they are. And there's probably somebody out there in the world that is thinking, I'd love to have a photograph of my great grandfather. And here I am sitting with it in my photo album. So who knows? Okay, wow. She wrapped these up really nicely. And she said there was one that she put in some cardboard. So let's take a look and see what we have here. It's kind of cool that she's an antique dealer. And so she has an appreciation for history. And I really kind of consider two people really special in this journey. Lauren, the antique dealer, and the gentleman who held on the photographs and made sure he gave them to somebody who might appreciate them. Okay, so this is the one that she said was in a behind a deal. Well, hold on. This is sort of crumbling on the side, so we're gonna be careful here. Okay, wow. This is a photograph. It's on the back. There's nothing written on the back. So a woman standing in front of a house with a horse. Wow. Incredible photograph. I mean, try to get the glare off of that a little bit, but you can see that. Woman with a horse. No name, no information on the back. And of course, I got to take my glasses off to be able to see the photograph. Wow. So I have family that were in Buda, Texas, and in Austin. So we don't know exactly where these photographs may have come from. All right, well, here's the second batch. She wrapped these up. Lauren is an artist, and so I suspect she does paintings and art for people and mails things. So I offered to pay for shipping, and she said, I'd be glad to mail it to you. No problem. So here are the photographs in a plastic bag. So here we go. Now, I don't know if I fully explained the story the first time, but Lauren found a picture with the name Carlton D. Taylor on the back of it. That's how she found me. And so when she sent me the message, I immediately gave her my phone number and said, text me a photograph of what you're looking at. And she did. And it absolutely was a picture of my cousin with Uncle Lehman and Aunt Myrnie, his parents. All right. And she told me there was a negative in here. And sure enough, the one on top is like an old school negative photograph. And it's somebody, looks like two people on a bicycle. It's hard to make out. I don't know if you could tell. Let me put a white background behind it and see if it shows up. There, you can kind of see. Maybe I flip the photograph over. I don't know if we're looking at the back or the front of it. Turn it over again. Looks like someone on a bicycle. Interesting. I don't know. Like I said, don't know who had these photographs. Don't know how they're connected. I can't assume that they belong to my cousin Carlton or his family. Could be somebody else. A little snapshot. It's hard to tell who that might be. I'll use this. Okay, so, all right, so this is the picture that really set it off. When she sent me this photograph here, that's Carlton, officer in the U.S. Army. That's Uncle Lehman, Aunt Myrnie. When I was a baby, Uncle Lehman and Aunt Myrnie were still alive. And I remember going to Uncle Lehman's funeral. Carlton died in a car accident in the 1950s. He was their only child. Carlton was not married and did not have any children, which really makes this interesting because after he died, his parents lived until the late 70s and they died within weeks of each other, if I'm not mistaken, 1978. So this was the photograph because my mother was there. When this photograph was taken, we haven't seen this one, but we've seen other photographs, same day, everyone standing in the same place, different folks, different relatives, posing with cousin Carlton because everyone was so proud of his accomplishments. All right, so now we start going through some of these other photographs. And again, no name on the back, so it's only by chance that we were able to compare our photographs to these. Here's a woman holding a cat. No name. Here's a young lady on a horse. You can see a stamp. A lot of these photographs were produced by photo studios in Austin or in San Antonio in some cases. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, 30 or so photographs. Beautiful picture, two young ladies. Can look on the back. No name. Don't know who they are. But wow, what a great photo. It's a little girl and her dog and another baby. No name on the back. So whoever had these photographs likely had some connection to the Taylor family, my cousin Carlton, but we just don't know exactly who that might be. So the back of this shows me that this was probably glued in a photo album at one time. On the other side is a small child. Based on the hairstyle, the clothing, even the photograph style, the backdrop, there are things that we can guess about the timing. This is interesting. Look at that baby's face. So, again, don't know whose photographs these might have belonged to, but I can tell you that I've been told that Carlton's mother, Aunt Myrnie, was Native American. Part Native American, full blood, don't know. Which is interesting when I see a photograph of that baby. Doesn't mean anything. I'm just out here making guesses. Okay, so this photograph says January 1948. San Antonio, Texas. It's a woman standing next to a car. No name on the back, but Nice photograph. And there's one thing that I've learned about automobiles and photographs, and that is these weren't just by chance. Oh, she happens to be standing next to her car. When folks were taking photographs like this, they were saying, "We got a car," but we don't know who we is. All right, this one has a little writing on it. So it says, oh, let's see. It says the letter. I don't know if this is going to come through reversed or not on the video, but it says, "I can shoot too." And it's a photograph of a little boy holding a rifle and a man who's probably teaching him how to shoot. And someone was being funny with the caption saying, "I can shoot too." Looks like it was glued in the back of a photo album at one time, but we have no name. Maybe the names are written in the photo album, and the photo album was lost or fell apart over years. And I want to take a good look at this guy's face. Oh, he's holding like a little pistol, and the baby's holding the rifle. And they're having a fun little time taking this photograph. Wow. This is crazy. I have to keep remembering to turn the photographs over. This is interesting. This man, he looks like he's wearing a uniform. I see some professional boots going on there. I see a hat, bow tie. Somebody out there could probably look at that and say, "Oh, I know what type of job someone dressed like this would have had back in the early 20th century." No name. Oh, wow. Look at this brother right here. Tell me you don't see Native American influence in that photograph.
Oh,
Who is that?
right. Wow. People go into stores here. Look at the wagon back there, though.
I couldn't even get past the wagon.
And the wagon.
This one. I'm sorry that light is super bright, but when I have to turn it like this, a little bit of an angle. Look at that guy between two women who look like they are African American, and boy, that brother, braids coming down both sides, long white goatee, hair part in the middle. That's definitely yes. And look at the wagon in the back. A wagon, y'all. This is somebody's. This is somebody's somebody, and we don't know who. And I'm not going to lose my mind over the fact that we don't have answers here. But looking at that guy and what I told you about Aunt Myrnie possibly being Native American makes me think these could be Carlton's mother's photographs. It's a group of young ladies Maybe students. Hard to tell. I've seen photographs like this in our collection. Same era, same type of posing. Many of these, I can see it's very faint, but it says postcards. So when they had photographs produced, they turned them into postcards and would just drop them in the mail. No envelope, no needed, just put a stamp on it and send the photograph to a loved one. Did we already see this one? I think we already saw this. Is this a duplicate of one that we've already seen? I'm starting to forget. Okay, so there it is. 2 postcards, same photograph in the same collection, no names on the back. Wow, the number of horses, beautiful horses. This one was also glued in the back of a black sheet of paper, photo album. Now, this is interesting. Here's another picture. Okay. I feel like I see 2 women and a man in this wagon. And I will tell you that back in the day, when a man was courting a woman, it would have been against social norms for them to go off by themselves together and be alone. And so they would have a chaperone. And so I'm literally thinking, looking at this photograph, that this could be some sort of courtship with a chaperone driving the wagon so they can ride together and be together, but not be alone together, which was a big no in the late 19th, early 20th century. Okay, wow. Now this one is really interesting. And I know who this is. And this is a photograph we haven't seen before. There's no name on the back, but I know that this is a young photograph of my Uncle Lehman, either Ernest or Lehman, I'm not positive. And he's holding a fiddle on one side. That's Lehman or it's Uncle Ernest. It's one of the 2 Taylor boys. And I can go back in a photograph and probably confirm which one. And that's interesting because my son is a professional violinist. And we've never seen this photograph before. And there he is again. So this would be over 100 years. This is probably around 1910. It's a Taylor family. This is my great grandmother's son. No name on the back, but I know I've seen a photograph of him with his violin, fiddle, whatever they called it back then. So that's how I know that that's probably him. And another automobile. Wow, this guy. Look at that. Obviously, we'd be able to track down the era based on the type of car, style of clothes. No idea who these people are. Big hat, white dress. Postcard. No name. Now there's going to be some other names that show up in here because the antique dealer told me that there were some other names in addition to Carlton Taylor. Look at that car. My guy's got a spare tire ready to go. You can imagine driving back then on dirt roads in a car, all the things that could possibly go wrong. I'm sure it did. Okay, so this is another one. Carlton D. Taylor when he was a baby. It doesn't get any more clearer than that. There he is, my namesake, as a young boy, as a young baby, a baby. This was another one the Lauren sent to me. That might have been the one that she turned over and said, "Let me Google this name," which again makes me think maybe these belonged to his mother. A couple of fellas. Two pictures on one postcard. Interesting. Looks like two different people. Wow. This was just amazing. I mean, sisters, friends, who knows? They got their hats on. Got to get the picture with their hats and then the picture of them together. Clearly, there's a bond between them. Here we go again. Posing with the carriage in the field. Where are you guys going? What's going on here? You know, this is probably a precursor to posing with an automobile. That's our horse, that's our wagon. Where are you going? "24, just a number scribbled on the back and looks like pencil. And picture taken, looks like high noon, sun coming straight down, casting the shadow over the eyes under the hat. Hot Texas sun. Oh my gosh. Couple with their baby. Can't say who they are, but they belong to somebody. Little boy, probably his mother. Doesn't look like Aunt Ernie, so I don't think that's Carlton. More photographs. Unidentified people. Here's an interesting sequence. The photo I just showed you and this photo. Same people. This looks like some young people trying to take a selfie back in the day. Back in the day, as in a century ago. So a little boy looks like he's in a wash bowl getting a bath. Taking photographs of young children. I found an advertisement from a photographer who said, I specialize in taking pictures of young children. This was a big deal. To capture the image of a child back then. This one is really interesting. Okay. Scott writing, photo of Mr. and Mrs. I don't know what that says. Emery Williams, maybe. I could be getting that wrong. It's a heck of a photograph of a couple and their child. So that's not Carlton either. But what a great photograph. Likely in front of their own home. You can see it's brick. They're doing pretty good. Living in a brick house. They have a son. Capturing that moment in their life, that snapshot. this one's this one's wild. They're posing in a studio, and it looks like a crescent moon as part of their little backdrop, like they're sitting on the moon. I mean, who would have thought they were getting this creative with photographs back then? This is great. There's writing on the back. Joe, Ollie, something, Wilson, Route 2, Box 29, something, Texas, paid 50 cents to be returned of something address. And this is great. This is a great photo because she's smiling. And this era, it's not often that you would see a photograph of someone smiling. I just started reading up on this again. I probably looked it up a couple of times before, but why did people pose looking away from the camera? And the whole thing about smiling, sometimes it took a long time for the exposure of the camera, and so you couldn't just hold a smile for a long time. Smiling wasn't a thing. Great photograph. Who is she? Didn't tell you. Electric Postcard Studio, 1309 Main Street, Fort Worth, Texas. Might be some of your people. Oh, wow. I think that's Nina. The woman in the middle of this photograph, it's really faint, but I think that woman there is Nina. I think that's my grandmother's sister. So that would be Carlton's aunt or aunt, depending on how you say it. Carlton, the Army officer, his father, John Lehman, John Lehman's sister, Nina, in the middle. I know that face. I've looked at her photograph so many times. I don't know who the other two women are, but I believe that's Nina. It's close. Her other two sisters were my grandmother, Inez, Roberta, and Faye. There were four girls. I don't see Faye, Inez, or Roberta in these other pictures, but I think that's Nina. Wow. Well, this one is. Whoa. Look at this. Look at the clarity of that photograph. Look at that woman. Wow. Wow is right. Look at that horse. The horse is in the photograph, y'all. That's significant. That's not an accident that they framed the photograph with the wagon and the horse and the house behind it. None of this is by accident. They didn't just say, oh, let me take a quick picture. This is staged. Look at how she's dressed. Who is she? Wow. I'll take another look at this face. Is that Roberta? Oh, there's even a child in the background sitting on the porch. But whew, the focus of that photograph, nothing's by accident here. Wow, that is an amazing shot. Two women on a horse. Now there's a cowboy right there. That's a cowboy. Look at that. The sense of humor. This one says, I've caught you at last, Pat. And it's a woman and a horse. Like, was there an issue? Did the horse get away? Did they have to chase it down? I've caught you at last, Pat. It's the horse name, Pat. Whatever happened, there was a photographer there, and after it was produced as a postcard, just about every single one of these has postcard on the back. I don't know if I'm showing that correctly. Just about every photograph is a postcard. And they remembered to write, I've caught you at last, Pat. Incredible. Getting down to the end of the stack here. These cute little babies. My goodness. That. Two men and a young boy. Keep checking the back of them to see if there's anything, any clues. This one definitely looks like a doting mom looking at her son. Maybe both of them are her children. This young man looks like a student. This looks like a class photograph. The same goes with this young lady. It's like a student desk they're leaning against. It's that brother with the spare tire again. This is just straight up interesting. I'm not even sure if I can guess what's going on there. It's like maybe a cart and they're playing around sitting in the cart. It's probably meant to haul vegetables or something. I don't know. Someone had a camera and someone took that photograph. Look at these young ladies here. Who's that? Who are they? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Folks dressing up. Yeah, we're getting down to the end of the pile. Okay, now this one has no names. But this one's interesting because I've seen this photograph before. This photograph is in our family photo album. It's not the exact same. Well, the quality is different. I gotta find it here. So there's definitely a connection as I go through these photographs and I find similarities. Here we go. So I go through this family photo album and I find this photograph. And this is the one that arrived today in the mail. Unfortunately, I don't have a name on our version, and there's no name on this version. But I literally have this photograph that the collector sent me in our collection. So these people meant something to somebody in our family. This one's a little more easy to see. This one's not. And there are times where I go through these photographs in the photo album and I'll flip pages and realize, oh, this person over here on this page is the same person in this photograph. I mean, that happens to me all the time. And so maybe I'll be able to go through this and figure that out. Oh, wow. There's another great one. Look at the style. Shot in the studio. Hat. Dressed in nines. Studio backdrop. No name. Maybe somebody out there will recognize some of these photographs. We're about down to the last ones. And this one's interesting. braids down both sides. Another negative. Maybe mother and son. And then this negative one. I need this white background again. Let's see this one. That one's kind of hard to make out, but it looks like somebody in front of an automobile. What do you say? Turn it over.
Okay, turn it back over and don't use the finger. People are so good. I can take a picture.
Yeah, we'll have to take a picture of this one to see, because I can see it here with the light.
Yeah,
With the light behind me, I can make it out. Two people sitting on the front bumper of a car. It's amazing.
hold on, hold it back up.
You'll be able to just put it in front of the light and see what it is. Wow. Okay. And there you have it, folks. I mean, wow. So that's wow. So this is amazing. This is amazing. The big surprise was I think I found a photograph of Nina, my grandmother's sister. She died in the summer of 1934, ovarian cancer. And here we are, 90 years later. And somebody who had a connection to the Taylors, Carlton, my Uncle Lehman, Nina, had these photographs. And somebody held on to them for decades. And for them to reach me in my home outside of the state of Texas in 2025 and to be able to go through these photographs is, I mean, I can't even really put into words right now. I mean, this requires some time to really process what it is that I'm looking at for the first time. I can't wait to share this with my mother. She's 90. She remembers Carlton. She remembers Uncle Lehman, Aunt Bernie. Nina died the summer before she was born. Her mother couldn't go to the funeral, her sister Nina's funeral, because she was pregnant with my mother in the summer of 1934. And then the photograph of the violin. I mean, we knew that there was a violin in the family. We knew that there was music in the family, but to see that photograph for the first time is crazy. I can't wait to share that one as well with my son who plays the violin. And all the horses, and all the dresses, and all the hats, and the humor, and the love that you see in these photographs. It's a lot. I mean, I went through it fast, but I'm going to have to go through them again slowly and really think about who some of these people are, who they might be. Maybe some Native Americans in there. It's wild. You never know. Turn the photos over, Google the names, hang on to those photographs. You never know where it might lead you. The end.